Amanda Chavez Newsday presentation. California went on their first lockdown March 4th, 2020. Roughly 8 months later, going into December 2020, California was put on a second, more intense lockdown than the first one before. The people who are impacted by the lockdowns are just roughly people who live in California, the residents, community, essential workers, and the frontline workers. And going into the first article that was published by the National Public Radio, which is also known as NPR website, and the title of the article being nearly 85% of Americans are to be placed on under a stay-at-home order until Christmas. And the people who are impacted by this are just people who live in Southern California and the San Joaquin area. The people who are affected are again, the residents who live in the San Joaquin and Los Angeles area, essential workers, and the frontline workers. And they are to be placed under a lockdown until Christmas 2020. What triggered the lockdown was the intensive care units in the area of the Los Angeles and San Joaquin area have reached a capacity of below 15%. And going to the second article that was published by the Associated Press website, that's also known as AP website, and the title of the article being "Most of California to Enter a Sweeping New Virus Lockdown." The people who are affected by the lockdown are those who live in Southern California and the San Francisco area. Again, it's just the residents, essential workers, and healthcare workers. The lockdown was placed from December 13th all the way up until December 25th, which is also known as Christmas. And again, it was triggered by the intensive care units falling below 10% of capacity in the San Francisco and the Los Angeles area. Going back to the first article that was published by the NPR website. The health department wants to enforce a stricter mask rule among the lockdown, and the mask is just to be worn 100% of the time when you're in public. So for those who live in the San Joaquin and Los Angeles area, they're to remain wearing the mask 100% of the time, along with wearing the mask. In these areas, there are some in-person schools taking place, and those in-person schools will remain in person during the duration of the lockdown that ends on Christmas. They uphold this belief by the amount of cases of the coronavirus surging in the Southern California and the San Joaquin area, having more restrictions on public gatherings as well. So you're only allowed to just hang out with who the people that you live with. So if you want to hang out with someone who lives not in your house, it's potentially illegal in these areas. And then going to the second article that was published by the AP website, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, announced a planned stay-at-home order, and this stay-at-home order is separated into 5 regions. So California is going to be separated into 5 different regions. And again, what's going to trigger the lockdowns in the separate regions is the ICU capacity falling under 15%. And the people who support this are the people who are affected by this are those who just live in the San Francisco and the Los Angeles area. And what would trigger a lockdown in the 5 separate areas, again, are the ICU capacity. And along with what triggers it, the retail stores, including grocery stores, will have to limit their in-store customer capacity to 20% to reduce the spread of COVID. And mainly the people who, again, uphold this are the community and the governor as well, because he's enforcing this. The rationale for holding their opinion in California has reached a total of 1.3 million cases since the pandemic started. So it's only been roughly 8 months Since the pandemic started in California and there's been over 1 million cases, with the excessive amount of cases, the hospitals aren't able to keep up with all the patients coming in. So they believe that they believe the lockdown will significantly help the hospitals catch up with the cases and have a capacity for just more than coronavirus cases. And then going into my opinion, I would have to agree with the AP website article and separating the California region into 5 different regions solely because of you can't base California on a whole spectrum. It is a very large state, and to just put a lockdown on the whole state, while not all the regions might not have all the same amount of cases, I feel like it's almost selfish, and it's easier to control the spread between the 5 different regions without gathering the whole state as one whole. I wouldn't agree with the first article only because it suggested that 85% of California is placed on a closure. It's not specifying what regions are closed, it's just specifying 85% as a whole. And that's my speech. Thank you.